What's up, everybody? Welcome to another day here of the KSL. It's going to be another marathon, Artosis. I'm excited.
I am excited as well, and I'm guaranteed at least, well, exactly 3 Terran games. Now, the question is, would I prefer the possibility of 4 games? Yeah, probably, but
Yeah.
I'll take 3.
You're okay with 3?
3 is solid. And here's the thing. I got to get it in now, because looking at this bracket, we're going to have about 1 Terran in the round of 8.
Yeah, yeah. We did get your TvT yesterday.
We're getting one to start today, Tasis.
I know, we're starting things off right if you're Artosis.
Getting spoiled.
And not a good day to be a Protoss player, personally.
Don't worry, you're going to have like 9 players in the round of 8.
I know.
It's crazy.
We're saving all the good matches for me later on.
We're just going to, this is going to be the tournament that just always has a top 4 that's all Protoss. That's just what KSL is.
It's a good time to be a Protoss
player.
player.
We're going to call it PSL.
Nice, because P stands for Protoss. Nice.
Yeah, instead
nice.
of K for Korean.
There you go. Do tell your friends to join us here. This is the only StarCraft tournament that's going on right now, as we're in off-season for StarCraft 2, and things tend to slow down as we get closer and closer to December here. So if you're an RTS person, this is your place.
Yep. Sure is.
What was that? What was that? What I'm right. There's no other RTS stuff going on.
That is true. There is very little.
And we're going to be here
this
all
is
day.
What we got.
We do have an interesting setup that's unusual for a esports event where when we finish our match, we have to wait until a specific time to then start the next one. So it starts
every
at 3.
2 hours is a best of 5. So it's 3 p.m. KST, 5 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m.
Yeah. And so we don't normally do tournaments like this, but this is how it's going on here. So leave the stream on if, because I know a lot of you guys are doing stuff when the games are going on. If we go away for a little bit, the show's actually still going on. This is going to be going on for at least, I think, 8 hours or something like that. So we got a lot of games today.
You know, while we were in California, I was watching Group A and B on the stream, and it was the weirdest thing because the chat actually got almost more active during the 40 minutes of downtime than it was during the games. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, stay tuned in.
Yeah, stick with us here. Right now in StarCraft 1, it does seem like Protoss is, the very top tier ones are better than they've really ever been before. We're seeing a lot of very strong play. But we have plenty of good Terrans, plenty of good Zergs here. Do you have any strong opinions on any of our matches to start things off here today, Artosis?
Oh, to start here today?
Yeah.
The group overall looks like it has 2 players that are a higher level than the other 2 players, but you don't want to underestimate those other 2 players. Yeah. I think it's a very volatile group in a lot of ways. Like, looking at the group, the overall base skill, I would say for sure Light and Zero are the strongest players.
Sure.
Light is a top 4 Terran, and Zero is absolutely a top-tier Zerg at the moment. But FORGG practices more than everyone, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's very disciplined, very focused. He might
the amount
perform
of ladder
very well
games
today.
that he has, like, I think even action is nowhere near him. It's crazy. He's
He
really putting in
grinds-
the time.
Yeah, he grinds a lot. He also has some great guides, by the way. For those of you who join us here.
FORGG does?
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Zero. But yeah,
yeah.
I mentioned him earlier, and I wanted to bring that up. He's got some excellent guides online that have been translated if you want to learn.
He's a big brain Zerg, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely a thinking Zerg. He's got the game very mapped out.
Yeah.
All of our games today are going to be best of 5s. So it should be a pretty dramatic day here. In fact, there is a chance we even end up going a little bit behind what the normal schedule would be. It's very possible for a StarCraft 1 best of 5 to go over 2 hours.
It is possible. Like, this first series could technically do that.
Yeah.
I think that there's a little bit of a clash of styles, so I'm not expecting it as much. And then, of course, we have a ZVZ to follow that up, and that's not going to go over 2 hours no matter what. There's never been a best 5 ZVZ that went over 2 hours, ever.
No, ZVZ is the shortest matchup by far.
You could start an hour and 10 minutes in, and you still wouldn't get, even if you went to 5 games.
This makes me want to have a spin-off of the movie Speed, only it's with ZVZ, and the games have to go over 2 hours or the studio explodes.
Yeah.
How do we have ZVZs that
would
last
just
that
never, ever occur.
Yeah, ZVZ is a short matchup. TvT, though, statistically the longest matchup. I guess PvT can be long as well, but there's always the possibility of PvT ends pretty quickly. So TvT, overall, a much more long and dramatic matchup. And the matchup Artosis. Do you like that the most out of all the matchups, Artosis?
Which matchup?
TvT.
No, I don't really have a favorite. I mean, by far the 3 Terran matchups are better than all the other matchups, easily. because Terran's the funnest race and the hardest race and the most complex
This is Terran
race.
propaganda here.
It's really not.
That's coming from Big Terran over here.
So,
okay, so we're going to start this TvT now. Here's FORGG. We were mentioning earlier. This guy has been laddering a lot. He's a really strong player. I do feel like he is actually pretty considerably overshadowed by a lot of the other top-tier Terran players, just as far as results go. Well, but let's see if this is going to be his big breakout tournament, at least in modern StarCraft 1.
Yeah, well, the way he plays is a little bit wonky, a little bit off. Like, he has his own style. He's the type of guy that makes more starports than you probably should. Like, think about Leda, but then make Leda a little bit more stable and a little bit better, and that's FORGG.
Yeah.
I think that that's about as good as I can do summing him up. Whereas this man here, you know, we always talk about Flash and Lass as the great mechanical Terrans, but he's actually one of them. He's kind of up on that level where his macro is just so unfathomably good. His baseline is huge, but he doesn't do well in individual tournaments. He never has. I hope that sometime he will, because he's probably, realistically, if you want to get better at Terran, this is the #1 person in the world to study, because he does the most basic builds and focuses on mechanics more than everything else by far.
You know, one thing about Light I will say is, although he is mechanically so profoundly good, it's insane, I don't think he always comes with the best build orders in a best of 5. It appears to be a weakness of his.
Dude, you see him play online, like on his stream, and he will just play solid stuff and do really well, and then he'll come to a tournament and be like, I'm going to command center first every game. Yeah. It's like, do you need that?
Like, you can't do that unless you're laddering and you're just playing different people each time. You can't CC first every time. We're going to start this off on the map Eddie, and both of our players in the lobby, so we're moments away from jumping into this. Actually, I think we're going to start this right now. Let's go. Okay, we have Light over here in the bottom left, and in the upper left is FORGG.
All right. All right, good. They changed the ID. He logged in on the
his
ladder ID, Lucifer Morning S. Yeah. I can tell what Netflix show he's watching.
What show?
Lucifer.
Oh, is that a new show on Netflix? I've not watched any Netflix in a little while here.
Yeah, it's on Korean Netflix, so I don't know if it's on in the rest of the world, but I guess it's picking up steam.
Is it a Korean show?
No, it's an American. It's the devil takes human form and is a detective.
and is a Protoss player. It's Satan, but as a detective.
Yeah, he takes human form on Earth. He's not that bad a guy, really. And
but he's Satan.
He basically helps the detectives in the LAPD and helps solve crimes. So he's like a
good guy detective?
Yeah. I mean, you know,
people greenlit this? This is the stupidest.
It's a pretty popular show.
This already sounds like an F. This sounds like
I really want
0%.
You to watch it. I really want you to watch it, Aceless. I want to hear what you think when you see it.
That sounds terrible, man.
It's not as bad as it sounds, to be
honest. Did you hear how you sounded even saying it?
I know, that's why I was laughing. That's why I was laughing.
As you came out of your mouth. They had to go to somebody with money, and then that person with the money said, you know what? Yeah. Let's do it. Is it based off a comic book or anything like that, or?
I heard that it was. I heard that it was based off Sandman, actually, but I don't think that's actually true. I'm not.
Sandman, the comic by
Neil Gaiman, right?
Yeah, Neil Gaiman, not Alan Moore. Yeah, right. Neil Gaiman. I almost said Alan Moore.
You read Sandman, didn't you? So
I have not finished book 4, which is the last one. It's good.
Does it sound anything like what I just described?
No, not really. Well, Neil Gaiman's always had these storylines where it's actually kind of weird, because if you read enough of his stuff, it's almost getting a little bit repetitive, but he has a lot of these things where some kind of super being decides to inhabit a person's body on Earth in some way.
Yeah.
Like in American Gods, it's all these kind of dead gods coming back, and Sandman, there's a lot of themes like that in there. So I could see that being inspired by his work.
Yeah. So,
yes.
That being all that aside, I guess let's take a look. A looksy-wooksy at what these builds are right now.
A looksy-wooksy,
yeah.
you say.
It's like a couple factory openers, probably factory expansions. Of course, we were talking a lot about this before. Light is gearing up for a fast expansion no matter what. Has taken an SCV off gas. Well, the additional SCV, right? So he's not mining any gas at all.
So when you start out on low ground in TvT, are you that concerned with just trying to get the high ground, or is it something that you organically end up taking? Because in PvP and in ZVZ, getting control of the high ground, if it's your main is on the low ground, it's a pretty big deal.
Realistically, the only thing that becomes stronger is 8 racks.
Yeah.
Because they can take your high ground and build a bunker there, and that can become quite annoying. It's not a game loss, because you can break out. You'll have much quicker siege tanks. But yeah, that's kind of the only build where that you're really thinking about on a map like this is some sort of 8 racks play. But this is not the greatest map for 8 racks, just because it is so big.
Yeah.
And where are you going to build it? It's like, well, you can forward 8 racks, but it's not really like the center. The exact center is not buildable, right? So,
right. So we have 2 vultures being made here. I think FORGG is, FORGG is actually getting an add-on here, getting that machine shop.
Yeah, and I mean, this should probably, oh gosh, well, I was going to start talking as if they were going to do builds that are just really base strong on this map, like lots of vultures, like we were talking about yesterday with Sharp versus Sari, but we see that FORGG is instantly making a starport. Which is, again, not surprising. He is the type of guy that makes a lot of starports and is relying on different Wraith timings and dropships coming out and things like that.
Give me a second or two, so I forgot to tweet that the show is live. 1 second. Here we go.
Jesus.
And it's on the internet. Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, look at this. The 2 vultures actually coming in immediately and dealing some significant damage. Yeah, he's already gotten an SCV and forced everything down the ramp, causing lost mining time. He got the Marine as well. Of course, with the siege tank coming out, he's just going to have to run away.
Yeah, he'll have to leave immediately here. But I'll tell you what, man, this really does slow down the mining at that expansion. So good move here by Light. You know, one thing about TvT, especially with, well, I guess it's true in all the matchups, but really vultures are so terrible against mechanical units as far as their shots go.
Yeah.
Unless it's other vultures, you almost have to treat vultures like they can't attack.
Somewhat.
You know, in fights.
You just
it's kind of funny.
So many to actually kill off a tank or a Goliath.
Yeah.
Now look at this. Like, Light has gone into 3 factories rather quickly. I don't believe he has an armory started. And if he does not, he's actually going to take quite a bit of damage here.
And the Rax is actually floating here for Light over in the main of FORGG, so he has no anti-air at all here. And it's quite easy for the Wraith to kill off the Marine. What is it, 5 shots to kill a Marine? Is that right? Or 4? 4 or 5?
It would be 5, yes. So an armory is on the way. It looks like FORGG not looking for that right now, but that's okay. He is getting some good damage. Look at that, 3 kills already, one of which is a Marine. Light, in the meantime, going to build his own Marine here. That's going to be a scouting Marine, most likely. Kind of check what's going on, then attack some SCVs.
Is it better to just try to repair the SCV that's being attacked, or do you want to try to run with it? What's the course of action here?
Yeah, I feel like that's a stylistic thing.
Yeah.
I think running it is a little bit smarter because, like, they're going to be going home a lot to do things too, right? They're not looking the whole time. So you can make the Wraith miss a lot of shots, but if they're microing it heavily, then repairing is probably slightly better.
This is really starting to add up here.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of damage that these Wraiths are doing. I mean, you can really see it thinning out here in the mineral patches in the main.
Well, this is part of the rock, paper, scissors that occurs when it's factory expand versus factory expand. Or basically any mirror build in TvT, there's a small rock, paper, scissors component to it, where what Light did here, he opened up with vultures and went into a quick 3rd fact. So if FORGG had been going vultures, this would have been a fantastic build. Instead, he popped out a siege tank, which kind of puts a stop to your vultures. All your vultures do is gain you map control, and you were going to have that anyways.
Yeah.
And when you add the 3rd factory quickly, you never have the armory. So he kind of got caught here in one of those small rock, paper, scissors battles.
You know, the push from FORGG is going to be pretty strong here if he goes for it. Is that correct? Or can he not do that?
In a little bit. He can't push quite yet. Like, his siege tank count is fine. The thing is, the Wraiths are actually very expensive. Each Wraith costs almost as much as a factory.
Very true.
Yeah, and the starport costs almost as much as a factory as well. So you're sitting on one factory for a long time as FORGG, but he'll jump up to 5 factories at this point, and then he's going to have a nice, strong army. So there you go. There's the 5 is on the way.
Wow, okay. A lot of push potential here with this.
Yeah, and like Light isn't dead by any means. You know, he's pumping out siege tanks as well as he can. He's got his Goliaths out and whatnot, but FORGG is going to have a lot of options here. He's already kind of slowed Light down a bit. He's going to have a dropship coming up, no doubt. That's just always something that's going to come. And with the 5 factories, he's going to easily be able to spend some vultures harassing, running around, you know, dropping into the main base.
So the barracks has been picked off here. It's very important you try to get an engagement when you're on the high ground here in TvT. I think for some of the people that don't actually, or I guess I should say have never really played StarCraft 1, you might not realize that sometimes players are on high ground versus low ground.
Yeah.
On this title set map, it can be a little bit deceptive the way the artwork works, but...
Yeah, a lot of the maps nowadays, like, see those gray ridges. Those are where the ramps are, basically. Not that those green tiles there, but the ones that look like they're in a pattern, like those lines going down. So that's a good way to kind of look at it. Now, this is a really nice move from FORGG. It looks like he wants to push towards his 3rd base that Light's taking. Whenever you're in a position like this as Light, where your opponent is going to eventually gain map control, it's pretty smart to take your additional base at that point. So, I mean, FORGG's, he's putting on the pressure, he flies the Wraiths in. FORGG's playing a very nice game right now.
Yeah, this game's going really quite beautifully, honestly, for him. Not that Light has fallen massively behind, but this game is going in the direction that FORGG has planned it so far.
Yeah, FORGG's supply should start to shoot a little bit ahead, because he should start making quite a few vultures at this point. Of course, we saw he already has a dropship out here as well. Look at this micro.
Yeah, look at him just avoiding that Goliath. Really nicely done. The barracks having to be remade because you can't make more factories if your barracks has been picked off.
He's got 14 kills on those raids. Only one is a Marine. So that is 13 SCVs killed with that.
That's
what
so
a
much.
worthwhile tech.
And it looks like he is going to finally take that one Wraith out, but I mean, those Wraiths paid for themselves and so much more this game. You know, not just with the SCV kills, but forcing the other player to try to respond to it.
Yeah. And now, FORGG taking some map control. Again, he doesn't have a 3rd base, so there are things that are weaker about his play that Light is gaining an edge on. But just being able to run around and lay down mines absolutely everywhere is going to be massive here for FORGG. You can see that mini-map. Like, that is some map control. He's got his siege tanks set up in front of where he's taking his 3rd base. Look at that. He's actually making a lot of dropships as well.
And this map, I should say, actually, in this matchup, the entire map, who can control it is more important. This matchup involves players using more of the map than any other matchup, pretty much in any other RTS game ever.
Yeah.
This is the most extreme version of this. You trying to surround your opponent over and over and over again. So we see Light actually breaking free here. FORGG, of course, sees that. He'll relay another minefield. But we've got a big drop coming in here. You know, it's tempting to try to come out there and eliminate the mines, but that can then trigger a drop here where you're just not actually prepared to defend this.
Yeah, those dropships are scary, there's no doubt. I'm interested that he even went for the dropships this early. Like, I don't feel like this is a great time for the dropships. He's kind of low on supply still.
Do you want to have a more developed 3rd base before you try something like that? Is that the idea?
I feel like you do. Because if this doesn't go right, you're definitely in trouble. But hey, he gets a siege up on Light's high ground here. I think he's throwing away a lot of those vultures, though. Now look at this, the 2 Wraiths of Light that he's now made. Gonna peck away at the siege tanks.
This is annoying. You know, one thing about TvT is that the tank is the most important unit. So if you lose too many tanks, you don't have any ability to control your opponent. So he needs to take care of this pronto.
Yeah, look at this. He's got the, just beautifully done right here by Light. He's starting to pick off so many siege tanks with this. This is always the funniest thing when you make like a really good move and then like a Wraith or 2 show up and you're like, oh yeah, I don't have a Goliath.
Okay, so he's now repairing these tanks over here. Oh. It's so funny. It's so hard to actually pull this off. Is he going to get it?
Oh, they equalize.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's so hard to actually repair a Wraith in time to save it because Wraiths do so much damage to each other.
Yeah. Now, Light, rather, I was going to say, I think he needs to pull SCVs here, actually. He has to break through this now.
Yeah, the longer this contain remains here, the worse it's going to be. And funnily enough, it's actually FORGG shoving with his own SCVs.
Yeah, that was beautiful to send those up to tank some hits so you can retain some tanks here on the high ground.
I think a lesser player would have ended up sending those back home to mine, but he knew in that moment, okay, we might as well try to thin out this tank line because these SCVs are already here.
Yeah, the scans on both sides. FORGG continuing to rally down. You can really see, FORGG's opening did so much for him in this game. Just the fact that he's in that position still, but I feel like he might be overcommitting. Because if he loses that area, I feel like Light can easily kill the few tanks that are in front of the third base of FORGG and really gain his own type of map control and put pressure on.
Okay, the tanks are going to come forward now. This is very important. Light needs to break this position. It looks like there's actually nowhere near enough tanks here for FORGG unless there's something north of the screenshot here. Yeah, definitely not enough here. And that dark blue area is low ground. He doesn't want to try to set up there. It would always be an unfavorable fight. Now, I think it's probably better if he just retreats and sets up another line of defense further back.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, but I think he's actually trying to break through Light's tanks over there above his third base. Of course, Light will be able to move his tanks over here really quickly to defend. Just got to target down those siege tanks.
Ouch. This is a very tough spot because neither player can really push through that area, but I think if he moves his tanks down just slightly, he should be in range to actually hit that command center. Is that correct? Just a little
yeah,
nudge
he
down?
Can't quite do that because of those two siege tanks there. If you look at the angle it's at, they'll get in range of the siege tanks at the same time as the CC. So Light has just barely the defense he needs there.
But as Light comes out, it has to be tempting for FORGG to try a drop here. Now, where were those drop ships earlier? Oh, speaking of the deadly airship, Light coming in here now to do a drop of his own.
Well, right now, FORGG, I mean, he's kind of getting his little push army a little bit surrounded. This is something that we're seeing from him quite a bit, where he'll get into an interesting and strong position, but then Light is just taking the very straightforward approach. Look at the supplies at this point, right? Light hasn't done many harassment moves, like he did that one drop right there. But overall, we see him, FORGG is being like almost too technical, which really is his style.
Yeah, he's such a smart player.
Yeah, he's putting his units in some great spots. Like, he got those dropships early. That's a big investment. I mean, he could have had way more units at that point, but he did get a good spot, but then he overcommitted there.
I gotta say, although FORGG is playing so well, you can see on supply here why Light is a mechanical god. He's just powering out. He's willing his way through this game. And we actually have now Light. He's headed northbound here. He's going to be able to set up and try to push into this position.
Okay, so not the greatest location for Light. I don't feel like he should actually stay there, because he's like half on high, half on low ground. You get 2 rounds of units out of FORGG's factories. He's going to break through there easily.
Yeah.
In fact, a drop on top would be amazing here, and I think that's what he's going to do. And, I mean, these guys are like, they keep getting these good spots, and then they get broken. Yeah. You have to be really careful. Sometimes you get a good spot, and you're like, oh, this is pretty good, but he's going to break it, so I got to run.
Okay, another unload over here. I actually think we are on the verge of seeing FORGG get flattened here, guys. This is looking worse and worse.
Oh, what's he doing with these dropships?
Well,
I think he's going to have to sit back.
I think he's going to have to go back home and try to defend, man. Yeah.
Right.
I have to say, this has been so impressive that Light has basically beaten FORGG back on all fronts. I'm not even clear on where the mistake was here in FORGG's play. Do you have a moment you could go back on?
Yeah, absolutely, because he had the early advantage. I think his dropship tech was way too early. Again, each dropship, the gas cost on each dropship is the same as the gas cost on a factory or a siege tank, right? So his army just could have been bigger. If he had just gone into macro mode after his very technical opening that did a lot of damage, I feel like he could have gotten a massive contain up, but instead he got fancy, he did some damage with it, overcommitted a bit. He's still flying around with these dropships. It's like, okay, you clear that area, but look at Light. Light is sledgehammering his way through everything.
Yeah.
It's like you can do these cool technical drops, but at the end of the day, if Light has enough units to both defend and break through your smaller unit lines, you're in trouble.
Yeah, this is Almost like we see one player very technically savvy, but the other player is simply bigger, faster, stronger.
Something like that.
This is very important that FORGG does not lose this position, and I think he... Oh, actually, I think he's going to keep it for a little bit longer, but even then, look at the bottom of the map.
Yeah.
Light is expanded everywhere. FORGG is basically out of options. All he's doing is damaging a command center. I don't know that he's ever going to actually kill it.
Yeah, it's getting very tough at this point for FORGG.
Oh my
He's
god,
against
this angle's
+2.
terrible here, too.
That's...
All the tanks are going to take damage. He's never getting out of the Aratoses.
No, he certainly is not. This is going to be game-ending for FORGG. He's barely mining at this point. Yeah, this is something that's really funny about StarCraft is for so many people, for almost everybody, your strengths are also your weaknesses.
Sure.
You know, the same thing that got FORGG into a very cool position. The thing is, he's so stylistic in this way that he plays it almost to a fault. Like, he's flying around with dropships when we're at 110 supply. That's, I mean, 110 supply, you can be broken anywhere, you know?
Yeah, you definitely don't have all your bases covered. So we see FORGG maybe going to win this fight here, but certainly going to lose the war that is Game 1 here in this best of 5. Again, the story is really in the supply in the mini-map at this point in time.
Yeah. Just so many bases for Light right now. He's made 3 more command centers. FORGG is mining barely at all right now. Just tiny income.
Look at this drop in the main here and force him to get further back into defending while the map is being consumed so quickly here by Light.
Well, everything Light does at this point looks genius because FORGG has so little left over.
I'll tell you something, man. If I was FORGG in this game, I would be pretty intimidated if I wasn't already by Light in the series. Light looks way stronger. And just, frankly, with a better understanding of TvT overall, I really like the point you made with the drop ships. The idea is cool, but it's actually too soon.
Yeah.
Why are you giving yourself an opening where you could get hurt?
Well, if you look at how units scale in TvT, like mech in general, the higher supply you get, it gets exponentially stronger. So if you're at 110 supply, you know, and 50 of that is SCVs, and then 8 of that is drop ships with technical units in it, and then your opponent's just making Vulture Siege Tank. It's really clear which side is stronger, even though you have a lot of maneuverability.
We're at the point where I would almost say for FORGG's sake, it's probably better to go into Game 2. Yeah, there we go, GG. I was going to say, you need to get into Game 2 and not waste your stamina here in this game where, you know, you're way, your head is way underwater, man. Yeah. Okay, Light. I mean, looking so strong in that game, this might even be a 3-0. We'll see how FORGG's late game is in Game 2 and 3, but right now, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going for Light in this series.
Well, this is definitely a macro map, Eddie is, because you do have so many switches from high to low ground. There's a lot of bases to take as well. But you know what? His Wraith opener did do a good job. He got a ridiculous amount of damage with it. It's just, and the thing is, this is hard stuff, guys. You know, he's strong because he is such a kind of tech player.
Yeah.
You know, does these kind of slightly off plays, and those dropship plays will kill a lot of players.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's good. It's just, let me put it like this: it's good. It's not the best. And you want to do the best possible move.
Well, that's what I was talking about with Sharp yesterday, where it's like, he's very good at what he does. He's somewhat similar to FORGG, but not as far out in that direction.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you want to be the best TvT player, you play like Light, Last, and Flash.
Yeah.
You know, those are the ones where it's like, okay, we focus on ground. Eventually, yeah, there are tech switches. Yeah, we'll get dropships later on, but getting that map control and having that strength to punch through locations that are under-defended, that's important in the early game.
Going into Game 2, it's going to be on the map Neo Sylphid. What do we want to look for here in TvT Artosis on this map?
I think the game is going to be...
not so fast, Artosis. I asked you that, but I didn't mean it.
If you say so, boss.
Let's start. Lucifer Mornings. just rolls right off the tongue. Okay, we have FORGG at the very top, and in the bottom left is Light. I'm sorry, now please, and TvT, what do we want to see on the map Neo Sylvan?
Okay, so it's a very flat map. It's kind of open in the middle. In my opinion, this is a very ground-based map. Of course, FORGG will do whatever he does. He has a lot of different teched-out builds. But, you know, gaining that control, like if you get a contain on your opponent, what a big deal that is. Yeah, and I guess one of the interesting things about the map as well is it's 3-player. 3-player maps, especially, I think they're especially good for TvT because they can't be cut in half.
Oh, good point.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have more bases, and that forces more action throughout. It's very rare that you'll be on a 3-player map and never see a battlecruiser made. It's just, you know, you're fighting over the expansions too much. If someone has one more base than you, you can't win. You know?
It's funny how TvT works like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say you have a map like Fighting Spirit that can very easily be cut in half.
Yes,
and then it becomes a matter
easily.
of who really utilized their units in the right ways.
Eddie is another map that can be cut in half. Circuit Breaker's not as much because it's so wide open, but yeah, Neo Sylvan absolutely not. It's part of the reason why it's such a good map too, I think. There's so many interesting locations that you can choose as expansions and whatnot.
How common is CC first in this matchup?
Pretty common. Pretty common.
Yeah? Is it considered cheesy at all, or?
I consider it cheesy, but I'm maybe not the right one to ask for that.
The way you looked at me when you said that was gold.
Yeah.
The way you looked at me said there's so much story there about your view on CC first.
Well, CC first, it's like if you play CC first and they proxy barracks you, all right, you've lost the game. Super sick. Nice risk, right? But people will still do it.
All right, you've lost the game.
Yeah.
Super sick.
Yeah. Isn't that neat? How he has Marines and your barracks isn't done?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you lose. It's what I consider an economic cheese.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get punished, it's the strongest thing in TvT.
Yeah.
But if it gets punished, you insta-lose. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, no problem. I'm here for that. All right, so nice quick factory here for both players. We'll see where they want to go build order-wise with this, chasing out that SCV.
Yeah, we're going to get into all the different techs here in a little bit in TvT. Definitely in this matchup, there are so many different branches that you can take. It is, again, even though players tend to not full-on engage each other early on, it is basically a big setup to try to consume the map with your army, with your units. And it's a very challenging concept. It's quite different from all other matchups in all the StarCrafts, but I'd say even in all other RTS games, really. It's a very fascinating thing. You know, for those of you guys, maybe you guys are not familiar with this game, but in the States, they would call it Go. Here it's called Paduk. It's that game with the black dots and the white dots. You've probably seen it before, right?
Yeah.
That game is a game of you trying to surround your opponent's pieces, and they're trying to surround you. And one fascinating thing that happened when this game first came out in Korea was when they put it on TV, a lot of people noticed that Terran vs. Terran looked exactly like Go on the minimap. And that you see these two colors, each one trying to encircle the other. And it was one of the reasons why when the game first came out, a lot of people were able to, even though now I think we all know that StarCraft's obviously very intellectual and very deep, a lot of people were able to say, see, it's just like Go. There's just this one matchup, and the other matchups function in totally different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good point. And I think that's part of the reason why TvT really, really is beautiful. If you don't like TvT, you don't understand it. It's like impossible not to think that this is an amazing matchup, basically. My opinions are right, yours are wrong. So, a couple of Vultures actually getting in right away
Oh my
here.
God.
You can see that FORGG overextending with that initial Vulture.
And I'll tell you something, that sucks. He stopped the command center right before it finished, and that's a lot of momentum lost. I mean, of all the things you could do that are very quick and easy and would actually put you not substantially ahead, but a little bit of a lead here, that's it, to kill the SCV make of the command center.
Yeah. And notice that he ran in and he saw one factory. That tells him everything he needs to know. He knows it's a Wraith build again before his barracks even gets up there. So he's already started his armory and he's on 2 factories. So this is the shoes on the other foot as far as that rock, paper, scissors effect goes that I was talking about in the previous game, where he went 3 factory, which would counter vultures, like 2 factory vulture. But here it's a starport. So if Light just goes mines and armory off 2 factories, he's in an amazing spot.
By the way, this push is coming in now.
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
This push. This is hilarious.
This is a motley crew, this tank and this Wraith.
Yeah. No, it is. It's really funny because it's like, well, what are you trying to do with this siege tank? Is there any universe in which a siege tank can kill Terran?
You're so funny, man.
Well, I'm watching him attack across the map. He has 1 factory, 1 starport.
Your relationship in this matchup, to this matchup, is so funny.
Yeah.
The way you're seeing it and what's happening on... I'm sorry, the way that you're saying it and what's happening on screen. Oh, man.
Well, you know.
That's really funny.
He's like, let's attack across the map with the siege tank. I think this is enough.
It's never...
I'm like, well, I don't think that
literally never, ever, ever is going to work.
Yeah.
Even a guy who's like 1400, it's not going to kill him most likely.
I mean, he has 2 factories, so no matter what units he builds out of that will beat 1 siege tank. Mm-hmm. No matter what they are. Now, if he had kept the 2 vultures in your base and then the siege tank kills them both, and then you go across, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you've already killed 2 of his units. That could work. But, you know, obviously, like mentioned before, the build order, you know, rock, paper, scissors has gone way towards Light, and now we're getting out there. He's going into 2 port now, which is kind of funny.
Oh, he just barely didn't see that. Wow. That is so unfortunate.
That is so unfortunate for FORGG.
Because it would have been better if he wasn't looking and just flew over it and lost a Wraith and saw it.
You are completely right on that.
You would have been better off if you were a bad player.
Yeah.
Isn't that a terrible feeling?
Yes.
It's too bad I'm good.
Dude.
Or I could have been better.
How many times have people made fun of me and Idra for saying, you only beat me because you're bad?
Yeah.
There's certain things you do in this game based on your opponent being smart and good at it, and that's right there. We just saw that incarnate.
You know how we were talking about players of different skill sets, and oh no, I'm sorry, we were talking about this before the show actually started. Excuse me, but you know, sometimes you get paired with somebody who's way below you. Mm-hmm. So like on the account I was playing on today, it started out at 1870, but I got paired with this guy who was like 1414.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just cheesed him because I don't even want to bother playing a long game. I want to get into the next game. And, you know, if they're at that rank, the odds of them being able to control their units that well at all, it's just very low.
The difference of 400 MMR is
But what's funny is
drastic.
I got paired once with this guy who was 2300.
Yeah.
And he just zealot rushed me, and I know he thought the same thing about me when he looked at my rating. He thought, oh, 1870, this piece of trash can't even use a mouse. Just attacked into me and killed me, and he was so much better at controlling the units.
It's true.
And I could feel it with how he was moving them around, and they were really scary, you know, and it was hard to pull my probes away.
Totally. Well, here's what happens now. Unfortunately for FORGG, he has been so hard countered this game.
Yeah.
With the opener and then with this 2-port follow-up. Like, look at this. Look at this. Tasteless. Are you watching?
I'm covering
Keep
my
your eyes open.
I'm covering my eyes. You have to just tell me what's happening. It's too much.
Learn about this.
I'm plugging my ears. I can't hear you.
My God. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid move from Light. Obviously, if FORGG can figure out that you're doing this, he can counter it. It's not just a free victory, but yeah, if they don't know that you went 2-port to counter their port, whew,
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Painful.
This might be another game where Light just pushes through and just smashes FORGG.
Well, he's really got a great position here. Sure, FORGG has his third up, but he's going to have Cloak. I mean, he can harass with his Wraiths. He can pick off stray units. He's going to get a contain up. Things are looking very good.
Okay, so this is getting more and more brutal here. Takes out another SCV. These Wraiths are going to fly away now. And I feel like FORGG is just trying to find some room to breathe here, but Light is far from finished. And by the way, I love this angle.
Beautiful.
We don't normally see a push here, but now that I look at it, yeah, that's actually a really good TvT spot to hit.
It's a great spot. Like, just hitting some of these SCVs here. FORGG can feel it, too. This game is just not going well for him at all.
It's getting worse and worse, to be honest. Even though Light actually expanded a little bit later here, you know, it's FORGG that's taking blow after blow after blow after blow.
Yeah. And, you know, it's an interesting thing, too, because FORGG is a very, very good player. And I actually want to mention what I was saying before, where it's like Light is really good at a base level, but never does well in 1v1 tournaments. FORGG is actually a Star League champion. He won an MSL.
Yeah, that was a different time, though, Artosis.
No, absolutely. But then he won a bunch of tournaments in StarCraft, too, as well. This guy is a really, really strong RTS player.
He's a good player, but I mean, when he dominated in StarCraft 1, people were going to Star Leagues on horse and carriage.
He beat Jaedong in the finals.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, he's good. He's good, Artosis, but I mean, Light is a different beast here. We are really seeing it.
Light definitely.
Light,
I mean, he's so strong, but yeah, he doesn't actually have the same accolades as.
Yeah. No,
like everyone thinks he's better, but FORGG, if you look at accomplishments, is better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
On paper, FORGG is better, but when you look in the actual game, Light is clearly much stronger, especially here in 2019.
Yeah, Light is in great shape. You can see his macros starting to kick in here. You know, he's got a good siege lineup. It's hard for FORGG to actually attack in and get anything done. I almost feel like what FORGG needs to focus on here, make sure he gets his +2, and just rally units into the center and siege him up. Because, yeah, see, this type of situation, when Light spots that you have like 4 units in the center, he'll just clear it every time. And FORGG actually does the same to Light up there. like 2 units on a contain.
Okay, he's starting to come out here. Now, this is FORGG trying to push, but I'm worried that this is going to get completely surrounded here. There's so many different angles that Light can come hit this from.
Now,
yeah, this is just going to get worse.
This is actually a really important moment. One of them has to break the other's side, right? Like either FORGG brings in units and breaks Light's units to the right, or Light brings in units from his base and breaks those units that we're looking at right now. Whoever does that first is going to be in much better shape. Oh, he brings up the vultures, but doesn't unsiege his tanks. Oh, I guess he had enough with just the vultures. Great moves.
This is one
really good move.
Yeah.
Really good. That was awesome, and the double mine lay was actually awesome there. Needed. He needed that to break the tank. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And now Light can't flank him easily.
Yeah, this was FORGG's one moment to really come out and do something. Nice vulture drop over here, though. This is definitely going to be a headache, and Ez he's going to have to try to deal with this. Oh, no, he needs to control those vultures better at that bottom base, because that would hurt him so much more if he could kill those SCVs. I think we might see Light try to break out as these vultures. I mean, they're supposed to be cleaned up. I don't see anything going back there just yet. There we go.
All right, finally does get some more in here, but that is a lot of SCV damage that's going down right now. That being said, FORGG has a nice forward position with his tank sieged up. He needs to bring a lot more units there right away, though, because certainly Light is going to be looking to break out of this area. But truthfully, the way that Sylphid is shaped, he could just set up a siege line here and go out through his third base.
Yeah.
Oh my god, look at FORGG move up.
Is this enough, though? I love these mines being planted here. Oh my god, great hit taking out some of those tanks. And I love this science vessel up here just chipping away. Science facility, sorry. It's a super science vessel. Dr. Robotnik's flying that one. Sonic's never able to get him because Eggman always has something that breaks off and he flies away.
Speaking of which, your favorite movie's coming out today.
Yeah, the Sonic movie's out. Well, I'm really excited for the Oscars now. Yeah, I'm going to go see that. I actually hate most movies, but I'll go see a Sonic movie.
No, you should definitely
I was a Sega kid.
I wonder if the Game of Thrones guys made it. It looks like they probably did.
Dude, let me tell you something. The Game of Thrones guys, they ruined the last season, but they did a good job with the other seasons when they had source material.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, like all the other seasons. You liked Game of Thrones before they ruined it, right? Everybody did.
Yeah, of course.
Luckily, they're not able to do Star Wars now, too. No. That's some storytelling street justice right there, Artosis.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, We have, once again, Light lashing out on the map. Now, FORGG needs to hold this. There's so many tanks, so only Vultures.
Yeah, only Vultures doesn't do all that well here, but he's actually coming up with his own tanks from the other side. Oh, that mine, though, that mine, though. Oh, beautiful
man.
mine. This is a knockdown brawl right now.
Oh, dude, did somebody count on him?
Wow. I tell you, that's a bad feeling where you're like, whoa, I have so many tanks left over, and then there's mines there randomly, you lose them all.
You're in disbelief as to how many mines there could possibly be in a cluster. One thing about lane mines in TvT here is that if you really, really concentrate them together, they're much better.
Yes.
Because they can't be shot down all at once.
Tanks are terrible at shooting mines as they pop up if they're not in siege mode. Okay, good defensive drop off there.
Yeah, I like that he turns around too. So FORGG is actually getting to stretch out on the map here, which is pretty exciting. I think we're in for a real TvT now.
Where are his units, though? I'm looking at the mini-map, and I don't really see a lot of FORGG.
No, he was defensively dropping his main, so he doesn't have any map presence at all. And now this push is going to come forward here. Keep in mind, if you can get over here in this spot that's being attacked, you also have the option of hammering the main as well. You can actually go from here into just pushing into the infrastructure.
Yeah, that is true.
And I feel like FORGG is maybe defending the wrong spot here. Oh, I love the mines under that, so he just can't even land there.
Yeah, he's really set up a no man's land right there. Very hard to break through that again.
You can land at somebody else's comm stat in StarCraft 1 as well, right?
Yes, and machine shop and tower, you know,
So
any
cool.
add-on. Any add-on you can steal.
So cool.
My favorite thing is when someone won't leave a game after proxying a starport, is to build a CC next to their control tower.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's slowly but surely looking better for Light. Even though FORGG actually has a lot of supply. Oh, I guess he'll actually break this area, won't he? That's very nice.
Yeah, well, he needs to
clear.
reclaim this for sure. Is Light overextending it all here?
No, I think he's all right. I think the way he's playing, it's fine. But as I say that, I mean, it looks like the dropship's going to really help him break through here. I don't think that was breakable without those dropships, or it would have been very cost inefficient. So maybe FORGG can actually finish him off, because once he sieges up this location, he can kill the base right to the north. Yeah, that's going to be it then.
FORGG's the man this game. He's actually pushing through. This is so sick.
This is really impressive, too, considering how countered he got in the early game. Like, a lot of things went wrong for FORGG in the early game.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he
lost every tank somehow.
Yeah,
Good targeting by Light.
Not over yet.
Well, he still has plenty more to push through here, but he's got to be careful. I mean, these tanks, they need to be combined. They need to be put together here.
Well, he's trying to lay mines to blow him up.
Good
Doesn't
targeting.
quite get it.
GG. We're tied up 1-1.
Yeah, that was a really cool game, actually. I'm
Great series.
very impressed with FORGG on the comeback there. He made some great moves, like that drop at that bottom base that killed off the command center was really, really nice. Very impressive because the switch into Wraiths from Light was really strong. Yeah. He did a lot with that. He killed his opponent's Wraiths. He got a lot of harassment damage done. The Vulture drop follow-up was great. He killed off siege tanks. He got his tanks into really strong positions when he was sieging the third base of FORGG. I felt like that was, you know, what an amazing move that was. Tons of damage. Really cool stuff. So we got a real series here. Yeah. I think I was a little too head over heels there for Light at the start of that game, Martos, as FORGG came back. Light attacked hard. He got in his face, but it backfired pretty badly. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, game number 3 between FORGG and Light. Don't go away. Guys, we're so sorry about that image we showed at the start of the show. That was really inappropriate.
Yeah, there could be kids watching. Guys, welcome back. Guys and girls, welcome back to the TvT that is just getting better and better.
You're so PC today, Jason.
I know, man.
Fixing yourself.
I am woke.
So, yeah, got a series on our hands.
Yes, we do.
That was an impressive victory from FORGG. I thought Light was going to be able to take it after he had that really nice 2-port Wraith for a bit.
Me too. I thought things were really going his way.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the last game was the, I guess it was more of an educational moment when Artosis pointed out that one tank will never win a game in the early game there.
It's, yeah. It's like, does a tank beat, like, 5 volts with mines? No?
No?
Oh, that's weird.
The more you know.
Anyways, I mean, I guess we just get to see now, what's our next map?
Circuit Breakers.
Okay, I would say that this is a little bit light favored because this map really favors heavy ground play. Like, you can go Starport all day till you're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, it's like such a wide open map, and contains are very strong here because of the bridges.
We have both of our players in the lobby. Guys, tell your friends to join us here at the KSL. This is FORGG versus Light, a Terran versus Terran. Up next, we do have a ZVZ as well. Going into this, though, I still think Light is the favorite. I think Light just overextended. He overdid it a little bit back there, and FORGG was able to crawl from the ashes.
Yeah. You know, I'm excited, though, to keep seeing what FORGG has.
Okay, so we have Light over here in the bottom left, and in the upper left we have FORGG.
Yeah, FORGG practices so hard, and I haven't been watching as much of his stream lately. Although, big props to him, because while other pro gamers will go on and stream stupid things like team battles and like use map and like where they all play on the same, you know, like basically Archon mode in StarCraft 1, Team Melee. Like they do all sorts of these quote unquote fun things. Whenever I see that garbage, right? Because it'll be like 8 pro gamers once, you're like, oh, every good streamer's doing that? Well, no worries, because I know exactly who's playing ladder right now, and that's FORGG. So you can always tune into his stream and get great games.
Hey, do you play any use map settings in StarCraft Remastered? Any? At all?
I'm sorry, do I have a red nose? Do I look like a clown to you,
I was going to say
Tasus?
Rudolph, and I was going to say yes, but because Artosis, in front of all these people, I'm ready to challenge you in a game of Micro Wars.
Oh, I'll destroy
Twilight level.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Can we find that, though?
If Tasus ever beat me at that, I would have to hang up my mouse and keyboard. So, yeah.
Let's do it, man. Let's go. I've got nothing to lose.
Okay. I'm excited. Let's stream it, Tasteless.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Done and done. Yeah, I'll find the Micro Wars maps. I didn't look for them yet, but I will.
Yeah, we gotta see if somebody's watching this. Someone shoot us the Twilight Settings Micro Wars map.
FORGG.
Oh,
yep,
look.
He's going for a command center without
no, he's
gas.
not.
Yes, he is. FORGG's going gasless expand.
No, he's making a barracks, isn't he?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Barracks expand.
I thought you said that was CC first.
Yeah, no, this is the safer one. It's slightly economically cheesy. If you don't react to it just right, then you can be in some trouble. But it's a forward 11 racks from Light, which is pretty strong against that. Wait, am I? Wait, that isn't an 8 racks, right? No. Yeah, no. Okay, no, that was 11 racks. Sorry, took me a second here. Anyways, it's a forward 11 racks, so he can put some pressure on. But it looks like he'll probably scout FORGG last. He might send the Marine north, though. A lot of times when you build the forward barracks, you just send a Marine out to scout as well, because you're looking for people who are doing these builds.
Yeah, right.
Where they're basically what you want to do is force them to make the bunker too early. Because when you go for one of these builds, it comes down to you want to make as few Marines as possible, you want to pull as few SCVs to fight as possible, and you want to make the bunker as late as possible. So any way you can screw any of that off is really good. And look at that, he kills the first Marine. That's RNG right there, so good job, Light.
Yeah,
but,
that's one of those moments where you can't run, but you might as well just See what happens.
It's,
By the way, Light is going to scout this right away here.
And FORGG hasn't really pulled too much yet. Obviously, that Marine is at very low health, so he's not too afraid of it. An SCV can dive in and kill it even. Light just clearing out his opponent's SCV there. Throws down his command center with good time. Oh, he's actually making a Vulture. Okay. So most of the factory expand builds that you use in situations like this, where your opponent has gone for a gaseous expand, normally you'll get an add-on right away. Whether you want to go into vultures or tanks, normally that's the way to do it. Whereas if you just make a vulture, occasionally you see someone do something crazy like just run by the bunker, or, you know, like for instance right here, he might be waiting to see if the Marines pop out to kill his 2 Marines. So watch this. But FORGG knows. He actually pulled 2 SCVs up, so he is very keen on what might occur. But occasionally you see silly stuff like Marines pop out to try to kill. Yeah, so he just popped one out to kill one of the Marines. And sometimes they'll pop all of them out and just chase them, and then the Vulture just like kills everything.
So where does Light want to try to take a game like this? I know we're still early on here, but for me, as a non-Terran player, I always find there's some mystery for me in the early game TvT. Like, what are you looking for and what are you trying to hide? And
well, he's floating in the barracks right now, and he sees the Vulture. So what I think that we'll see from Light is the speed upgrade for Vultures and just pure Vulture production. You can, with Factory Expand, match a gasless expansion Vulture for Vulture.
Yeah.
And get into that type of game. So that might be what we end up seeing. He actually went Mines first, which isn't a gigantic surprise.
Yeah.
What are you doing for?
Yeah, I don't know what the story was with that. So he's going to lose 1 Vulture, which actually does matter a lot. And now 3 Vultures are going to get into the main. This is so bad! Unless you're Light, then it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's going to get to lay some mines here. Artosis.
Yeah.
My heart.
No, I know.
My little heart can't take it.
Well, you have your Marines outside your bunker, and then, you know, your opponent's making Vultures, and you run your Vulture out. This can happen. Yeah, this is a very weird. This is part of the problems of being a Terran player. You look for TvT VODs, and you see stuff like this, and you're like, this is not replicable in any way.
Right.
This is a game that should never have happened.
Yeah, it goes to show you the impact that one little mistake can make, can really start to pile up.
Really
so already we have Light with just a huge SCV lead here.
Light is in a dominating position right now.
Still has the contain with the mines as well, don't forget.
Yeah, and he's
second add-on coming down here, so he's going to have plenty of tanks to boot.
Yeah.
There's no real counterattack at all. FORGG could try to send that 1 tank again, and Artosis could educate all of us on why that's a bad idea.
Well, I just don't think it can end the game.
Ah! Okay, he's actually losing even more as he tries to push out here.
And this is looking pretty good for Light. He's just going to produce his siege tanks nonstop. That's siege mode that he's upgrading right now. And like Light has a lot of options from here. He can go starport. He can add 1 or 2 more factories, or he can go for a command center. Like, all of those are completely reasonable because he's well ahead right now. But a lot of times what you'll want to do when you get a position like this is you've already laid some mines out there. You want to rally up your siege tanks and just do a contain. And if you just rally non-stop, like 2 factory siege tank basically, and just whatever else you're building out of your 3rd or 4th fact, it's like almost impossible to break it over these bridges.
Yeah, it's always very hard to move any StarCraft 1 group through a bridge or any narrow passage.
Yeah, and even if you had StarCraft 2 movement, the siege tanks would kill it anyways coming over the bridges. But FORGG gets out there.
By the way, some very good kiting here by Light.
It's good moves from FORGG too, though. I like what he's trying here. He's trying to reduce his tank count ASAP.
Oh my gosh. Is there any trick to this? And with Micro, do you want to like just target whatever's closer? Do you want to try to get their tank?
Yeah, you want to get their tanks is what you're going for here, because you have the explosive damage on your tank and Goliaths do normal. So like you are actually gunning for their tanks, because if the tanks die, the Vultures die. The Vultures, like you were talking about, don't add much.
Yeah. They barely scratch the tanks here. we're continuing to see both players power up. There is a command center being taken in the bottom center. Again, Light got, in the very earliest moments of this game, the contain with the mines, which at least allows him to monitor. FORGG, when you have enough units, you can usually push through the mines. They get shot down pretty easily. Oh, that's unfortunate. We even got to see that.
Yeah, yeah. So
not fit the add-on there.
FORGG is actually going to 6 factory right now, which I kind of commend the decision. I like it quite a bit because he got behind and now he's lost a bunch of units. He did reduce the siege tank count, and now he's just going to flood the map with units. And again, that's kind of a good strategy on circuit breakers because it's so open in the middle. It's such a gigantic map. So obviously, if you can break your opponent's siege line with something like this suddenly, you can get into a dominating position. And where Light took his third base, that's not a very easily defendable third base. You can harass it with vultures running around, and if you gain any sort of map control, you have high ground to attack it from. So it's very hard. Like, if you have map control, it's a good base, and if you don't, it's not.
Okay.
So if FORGG's 6 factory play can kind of pay off and he can gain that map control, which he's starting to do, right? He's running around, he's laying some mines. That is a hilarious tank.
Yeah, look at that, just out there.
Yeah.
You're not expecting to see a tank in that position.
I used to always call those back in the early 2000s like random outposts.
Oh,
it's like, why do you have units there? Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Why do you have? Well, obviously we know why he has a unit there. It's kind of a clever move because he knew vultures should be coming over there.
So he knows he can probably just catch them there, and they take a lot of damage from those.
But yeah, you see, it's kind of a tricky situation, right? He's laying some mines here. This is definitely an area where FORGG can apply pressure. And look at that. Right now, he's only gone up to his 4th fact, so FORGG actually has twice the unit production right now of Light. Not that what Light is doing is bad or wrong in any ways. Like, I feel like both of them are playing quite well.
I think given the positions they both gotten themselves in, I like, on both sides, the direction they're trying to bring this game into. So Light needs to defend this because right now FORGG has banked a lot on this attack. The sieging was a little bit late. We have some vultures coming up here.
Oh, man. And Light's defense here is just really strong. FORGG was a little bit slow getting his tanks up and sieging.
It's such an important skill to have to siege immediately. Oh,
yeah.
The problem now is that Light's got that third base up and running. FORGG invested all those factories into the tanks and vultures, and they were, for the most part, all shot down. And now I think Light may just outgrow, just outpace FORGG in this game.
Even just this Wraith is almost a game winner. You don't have any Goliaths. Like, you're on Vulture tank when you're doing a strategy like this. You literally don't want to make any Goliaths after your initial couple. But yeah, that was a great hold by Light. FORGG just messing it up slightly. And those busts are very hard to micro correctly. You have to time everything out really, really well. And now look at this. Light, he's starting to move up, making a siege line.
So, continuing to hit these tanks over here. He's just chipping away. We're starting to see this blue arc come around here now for Light, as he's beginning to put the final touches on this contain. Now, we got the vultures coming down here to try to hit this third, but I don't know if this is going to do enough damage. There's vultures, a siege tank here, and now Light has actually, I believe it's exactly matched the number of factories that FORGG had. So this is just going to get worse. We see the 2 armories here as well. So as the game progresses, Light is allowed to basically develop in every conceivable manner.
He's getting more upgrades. He's got the 3 add-ons right now in that additional gas, so he really can support all that. Look at this. FORGG is actually going up to 8 factories on 2 bases, which is not really supportable. If you have super saturation, like 7 factories, non-stop production is pretty much all the money you have. But, if you miss everyone in the world except a couple people miss smack around, so I guess you'll be able to use them.
Oh, really nice hits here. Oh, there's no way FORGG's going to get out of this. He might want to just tap out, actually, to be honest.
He's trying so hard with these volts
Look,
right
Artosis, he wants to win so bad. How embarrassing.
Hey, that was good.
Yeah, that was actually
sick mines.
Considering there was like virtually nothing there for FORGG, the fact that he got that many kills is really impressive. But Light is immediately able to replace this.
Yeah, and there's just nothing left for FORGG. I feel like he has to do something crazy here, like walk all his units around the top, but there's a bunch of mines there, so Light would see it anyways. Maybe FORGG can try to take that base since he's got a good siege position there.
We're about to get to this moment where there's going to be blue command centers all over this map.
Yeah.
Here comes FORGG raining down. It looks like he actually managed to wedge his way in here, but there's just too much. If these vultures start spamming mines down, there's actually no surface area to run and hide from.
What if he doesn't spam mines down?
Well, he'll still win the game here. Yeah, this is actually...
Well, FORGG coming down with some more volts. Look at that. Some good mines get laid, but good targeting there from Light. Just too much.
Wow. You can see scans coming down everywhere. He sees, all right, he only has maybe double the base as I do. But the problem, and this happens a lot in TvTs, when you get the lead, it's actually up to the other guy to end the game or figure out how to make things work. GG.
Yeah.
You know, when you get that contain up, all you have to do is keep expanding. The other guy has to break out.
Yeah, a lot of times the smartest way to end a TvT is to wait for your opponent to leave.
Yeah.
Like you set up positions that he cannot break, you stay cost efficient, and you have more bases, and eventually he just has to run himself out on you, and that's exactly what we saw there. You don't need to do the death blow. Sometimes when you're behind or it's even, you want to do something like that, but when you're ahead, get more ahead, my friend.
Hells yeah!
Yeah.
All right, Light is looking pretty damn good. FORGG again, he's a very strong player, but you can see Light has a very good handle, especially on the early game here, like in that last one. Those 3 vultures just got inside. That was one mistake where FORGG was microing, maybe being a little bit too fidgety with his own vulture, then he loses it, and 3 vultures just dive in.
Yeah.
And 3 vultures, 1 shot, or no, do a 2-shot in SCV?
1 shot.
1 shot in SCV?
Yeah, it's the magic number.
Yeah, so that's
like
that's the ideal amount, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising the way that went down.
By the way, I'm loving this graphic we got here on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
Very cool stuff here. Very happy with what Spo's been doing here. Now, going into this next game, we need to see a win from FORGG, or that's the end of this TvT.
That's right.
We're going to go to the basic bro of maps.
Fighting Spirit.
If this map wore a hat, it would have a flat rim baseball cap, and it would be wearing a sports ball shirt. Because we're going to Fighting Spirit, the basic of the basics. This is where...
The only map that wears a hoodie.
That's right. All the time. All the time.
It's got its dress hoodie on today for KSL.
It's got some very basic flip-flops. All right, we are ready to go to Game 4 with FORGG versus Light. Okay, bottom spawns here. It's FORGG in the bottom left and Light in the bottom right.
You know, I feel bad for FORGG in this series so far. Like, the game on Neo Silpha that he won was really impressive. And then this game, I feel like strategically, he outplayed Light. And then Light just, like, got these breaks that were amazing. Like, for instance, when the Vulture came out and he killed it and the Marines were outside hitting the racks, that was, like... That was a natural disaster that happened for FORGG, okay? Like, his boat was in his front yard, and water damage everywhere, Tastes, okay? It was bad. His insurance did not cover the damage it did.
Why would it matter that the boat was in the front yard? I don't understand.
Because the waves came up so high that it took his boat from his
Oh, well, you didn't explain
property.
that. I didn't even know that he was at the beach.
I thought this was really obvious, Taste.
Artosis, I'm from Kansas. I don't assume there's waterfronts by my house.
Oh, my gosh. Well, maybe you should have been from somewhere near the ocean. But look, that went so wrong.
Yeah.
And then he actually almost had a clean bust with the 6-fact even after that. Okay, he really did. Like, his Vultures went a little bit too in front of the tanks, and then I believe the tanks were, they were on attack move but hitting mines, so they didn't get in range and siege until after the Vultures were dead. That moment, I feel like FORGG, if he had controlled that slightly better, would have broken Light and actually taken really strong control of that game. Even though he was 2 base against 3, like, if you take control of those bridges, oh man, Light, like you are just you're gonna work him over. So I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that really felt like a game that could have gone to FORGG. Like he could be up 2-1 with really strong strategies here so far. Didn't work out for him though. It's funny, it's like the game that he won was the one that looked like he should not.
I know.
And the games that he lost were the ones where it looked like he should have won.
Mm-hmm.
StarCraft's such a funny game like that.
Yeah, well, TvT is a very complicated matchup. There's so many moving parts and so many different techs, and then the way they interact with each other. And then the mechanics of how you just engage each other. You can have more and screw up with your tanks and lose them all.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many little, I don't know, nuances to it that allow a player to outplay his opponent in certain areas.
And so we've got the forward racks here from Light. And it looks like it's going to be a quick expand here for FORGG. We know that because there's one SCV mining gas instead of 3.
Yeah. Light, we'll see if he takes all of his SCVs off or not. But it looks like probably just factory expand versus factory expand. Very normal stuff. It's interesting to see how few, gasless expands in Command Center First that we're seeing lately in TvT compared to, let's say, a year ago. Builds really rotate a lot.
Okay, FORGG is coming down now.
Look at this move.
And this is pretty nifty, actually. It's 1 Marine versus 2. And the CC is already floating, so he can actually drive this way. And this is annoying because it's already... He was at 400 minerals. He wanted to make the CC. Oh, good control here by FORGG, though.
Good pullback. Good pullback.
But SCVs are better than Marines sometimes. Sometimes. Oh, he didn't move it.
Okay, but this worked out so well. Look at this, 577 minerals, and he makes his command center.
Yeah, that's so good.
Look at this, 600 hit points against 200. I mean,
Light is laughing right now.
The forward 11 racks worked out wonderfully.
He can't breathe because he's laughing so hard.
Yeah, no, I see him right now. Look at him. He's right there in that booth.
Yeah. Water's coming out of his eyes because it's so funny how much he delayed that command center. It hurts.
Water is coming out of his eyes.
Yes. So we have the second factory starting at the same time on both sides.
Okay, I can't wait to see if this is a siege tank or vulture. We'll see in a second here.
FORGG might try to shoot across the map here.
Yeah, he's actually sitting very defensively with those vultures. He must be making an armory. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is actually a brand new build. Like we saw it yesterday. I actually haven't even run into this on the ladder yet. Well, actually, I haven't. Last couple weeks we've been busy, BlizzCon and all that, so I haven't played very much.
Yeah.
But this is like a very new thing that we're seeing, where you're going like no add-on and you're going into Goliath after your expand. But Siege Tank pops out here. I feel like this is actually a good situation to send your Siege Tank across.
Oh, I love this little Rax landing here.
Yeah. It's kind of cute. We'll stop a lot of the
I feel like this was the first of styling moves that we saw in StarCraft was the usage of floating buildings.
Yeah.
By the way, landing this here means you can't mine as easily, so it's very much worth it to do that and just try to slow things down. And
that costs a lot. And now the vultures are sitting back. The Siege Tank is coming up. Now, this is a second Siege Tank that's coming, I believe.
No!
Right behind him.
There's just one?
Yeah, no, this is good. This is good. You have to pull away from the SCVs, though. If the SCVs get up to the Siege Tank, you are going to be behind. But now he has 2 Siege Tanks.
Oh, so good. Look at this. He lands this here. Oh, my God.
The landed racks, like, actually blocks
I will tell you something. If you play Terran, if you feel so good when you pull off moves like that.
Yeah.
And look, he actually avoided the SCV snare.
Yeah. This is an amazing play here from Light. This is really, really strong. But there are Goliaths out. He has to be a little bit careful. He's so far ahead right now, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
this barracks is causing such a headache. It creates this insane bottleneck. Now the SCVs are being pulled. Oh, my God. Light is so good. He's so good.
Yeah. Very, very solid play.
I'm actually getting chills. This play is so impressive.
Oh, he went speed first.
Wow. That way he can reinforce really easily. And
yeah.
I think FORGG won't be able to reclaim the bottom of the map anytime soon. I mean, one Wraith is coming, but Artosis, how long is it really going to take for one Wraith to drive all this away?
Well, he has to do it with his Goliaths, and he knows that. He cannot wait. Great micro, though, once again. Light going to give up his barracks to be able to do this. You have to lift that command center now. It's taking too much damage. Lift it. Lift it.
Yeah,
lift it.
Please.
Lift it. Well, as he kills off one of the siege tanks, he can come back down the ramp. He should have at least 6 Goliaths now, which could.
But is it actually worth it to just keep sending vultures here?
Oh,
I mean, look.
He gets the mines down.
Yeah, now he can't land the CC.
Now this
he
situation.
needs to actually repair the CC, by the way.
Yeah, all you need to do here, because your opponent's on like Goliath Wraith, is you just make siege mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it.
And that's it.
You make siege mode, because then the Goliaths aren't going to be able to really do much anything. Of course.
So what do you want to do for light here? Do you want to just throw down 2 starports now?
No.
Try to counter this, or do you just want to go ground Goliath tank?
Well, he was the one I was saying you go siege mode, because you've got the mines up already, and you're playing against someone like this build. The fact that he's contained on this is not a build that's supposed to get contained, right? Between your vultures and your Goliaths, you should be able to win some early battles and actually be out on the map and not be contained. You actually want to be the container, but instead, we're in this really rough position for FORGG, and Light following up with siege tanks, he can just kind of do a big contain, and that's, you know.
Finally, the CC gets to land here. It's 45 supply to 74.
Oof. Yeah, that's a big difference, isn't it? So here we go. It's got some mines up there still. Comstat on the way.
Please repair this. Okay, thank you.
Every
once in a while it happens where they just lose the CC. They don't repair it. Now the push is coming. The Goliaths are here, but the tank can kind of naturally counter the Goliath, especially with mines in here.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to push all the way up right now. Which I feel like what he's doing with these tanks, how far up he's bringing them, doesn't line up with that command center he's building, but he might be so far ahead it does not matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you want to siege up over the bridge here. Instead, he's kind of pushing forward. I feel like, yeah, you have to fight this as FORGG. You have to get up there and mix it up.
Okay, he takes out the 1 Goliath. These tanks, they can, okay, I guess they are going to try to stay and fight here. Really good control here by Light. Just making sure that the weaker tanks are pulled away. Oh my gosh, now he plants some mines here.
Ooh, the Wraith is actually adding a lot of value at the moment. There's a Goliath right behind it, though.
Yeah. GG. Wow,
Yeah.
Great game there by Light. Look, he was definitely the better Terran player. The early game there, that was so impressive. I love the landing of the barracks to get in the way, the push coming down with the vultures, putting the mines then under the CC. From there, it was a pretty easy killing blow.
Yeah, he got so far ahead with that for sure. All right, Light goes up to the winners match, and FORGG will play our 3rd match of the day in that loser match. I hope FORGG does well. I do want to see more of his games.
He's a great player. But I'll tell you what, man, this is a really tough group.
It's tough.
I think Light might be getting out first. It's hard to say.
He could. If he plays his best, I think he does.
We got to see who wins in the ZVZ as well. ZVZ, it's such a tricky matchup, you know. Such a fast matchup, really.
Right. Well, this means, I guess we get our ZVZ coming up next in about a half hour. Our ZZ.
So we are going to be having, in a little bit here, a short break. When we come back, like you were saying, about a half hour, we'll be going to the ZVZ, and then we'll know what the winner's match is going to look like, truly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Zero is supposed to win, but it's Zerg versus Zerg, so it's a little bit hard to say.
I think Zero wins.
I don't keep up on exactly who's good in ZVZ as well.
I don't either.
But Hyuk plays like kind of a cheesy Zerg versus Terran style, so.
Yeah, and also you can be cheesy in ZVZ. There's a lot of little cheeky builds you can do or try to hide lings. But Zero's so robust, and he's really a thinking Zerg.
Yeah, he's very, very smart, and he has really good Mutalisk control, which doesn't always line up.
Yeah. So far, great series, though. I really did enjoy that TvT. Light is such a good player.
Yeah. I think FORGG did play a very nice series. That build at the end, I don't know much about it yet. I'm kind of interested to learn more about it and like what you're supposed to do, but it seems to me that it's a build where your opponent, if they opened Vulture, if they're going Vulture, which is probably the most common thing, you have a big edge there because you're going Vulture Goliath, and you should be up a Vulture because you didn't make an add-on. Because making the add-on takes like a similar amount of time to making a Vulture. So you should be up a Vulture, and then suddenly you have Goliaths because you're matching Vulture for Vulture, and then it's like, oh, he has 2 Goliaths. oh no, vultures don't kill Goliaths, Goliaths kill vultures. So then you just kind of rally out your Goliaths and snowball from there. I think that's what you're aiming to do with this build.
So funny, the early part of TvT and how each of these units, on paper, it looks like, well, of course you want to get a tank or a Goliath out, but a vulture is made so quickly, and you need to make the add-on to get the tank out. And this whole little mini game of what do you produce and what can you exploit with that if they're not respecting it, or if they're matching that, then where do you go from there? It's really fascinating to watch. But according to you, you're saying that most of the Terrans do just get the vulture out right away? And then it's a question of one versus two?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's there's a lot of questions in TvT about when you get your add-on. Like if you go instant add-on and get a siege tank, that can be very strong if their factories slow at all, or they aren't being overly aggressive. If they didn't build too many Marines, that's really strong. Because the tanks really wreck vultures early on. You know, I was joking about the Neo Sylphid when he sent the tank across with the Wraith, but that was very weird because you're playing against two fact. With one fact, you're not rallying in other units and stuff. But when it's like factory expand versus factory expand, and you send a tank across in close spawns and your opponent's building vultures, you can actually really micro heavily against that because it takes like 4 volts to kill a tank or something.
Quick reminder here, guys, nobody's been eliminated yet. We're still moving through the group here today. But I got to say, man, for FORGG, this is going to be tough. He looks good, but I don't know. I mean, I think Light, it's very safe to say that he moves on here. Right? I mean, his TVZ is his best.
It is his best.
TvT against FORGG, not a problem.
But to be fair, I mean, I could see if they play again in the decider match, let's say, I could see FORGG possibly winning that.
The thing about FORGG, though, is that even in the early game, Light is so much more commanding. You know? I mean, the game that FORGG won was the one where he had a lot of weird moves early on. Light just went a little bit too hard and pushed a little bit too much and ended up actually being his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to, when you try to shove with tank versus tank to get it up in time. I don't know, man. I think Light's going to get out. I don't know where FORGG's TVZ is either.
Well, I definitely do think that Light should advance from the group. When I said there's going to be like one Terran in the round of 8, I meant Light. He's the Terran in this tournament that I look at as like maybe we can get far with this.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our next best of 5 in 30 minutes. We'll see you soon.